Picasso once said, painting is just another way of keeping a diary. So when I was little, I enjoyed painting just like every child does, but as time went on and the years went by, I discovered that it was a huge passion of mine and something that I wanted to continue to do. It became kind of an escape and therapeutic to me, so therefore I'm going to be showing you guys today how to paint a sunset. So the first thing is the preparation. So first off, the reason why I'm wearing this is because you're going to want to throw on comfy clothes that you don't mind getting dirty or getting paint on, because it's going to get pretty messy and you don't want to ruin your nice clothes. So in addition to that outfit, you're going to want to have a blank canvas of any size that you like. You want to have something that you can put your paints on. I'm using a paper plate, but you can use a palette, you can use cardboard, you can use paper, anything that you like. And you're also going to need brushes. And so for the sunset painting, I recommend having one thin kind of flat brush, a thicker flat brush, and you want a fan brush, and then you just want tiny little detailed brushes as well. And so for the paint itself, it's completely up to you. You can use oil paintings, you can use acrylic paint, which is what I'm using. You can use watercolor, anything that you like. But today I am going to be using the Apple Barrel acrylic paint that you can get at Walmart for like 50 cents. It's a really good deal, and they blend really nice together. You're also going to want to have a cup of water and a paper towel so you can clean the brushes in between each step. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create the background and the sky. So for my sunset picture, I am going to be doing a reflection over a body of water, but that part's optional. You can do just the sunset if you like, but I drew a little sketch pencil line of where I wanted my horizon to be. So to begin this painting, I like to dip my big thick flat brush into a yellow shade, and the shade that I'm using is just going to be yellow, and it's kind of like a deep yellow color. So I'm going to dip it in and begin using the flat part of it and just going back and forth and creating strokes of just the yellow. And then I'm going to dip into this orange shade called Jack-o'-lantern, and it's kind of more of a rich orange, and I'm going to mix that with a little bit of the yellow and begin going in and blending them together like that. And so I wanted to create some dimension in my sunset, so I used the red shade Red Apple, and I began coming in from the sides as well and mixing that in with the orange. And to blend the colors, once you've made the strokes, you just turn the brush to the side and begin going like that. So I wanted to also make it darker in the top, so I used the Red Apple color and mixed it with the purple Concord Grape shade, and I put it at the top to create a darker sky. And so a trick that I have for matching the reflection to the sky is turning it to the side and following the line that I made, kind of doing a mirror effect. So I did the red, purple here and here, the darker oranges, and then going down to the yellow. So that's all you're going to do for step one, and you're going to let it dry for about 10-15 minutes, and then you're going to move on to step number 2. So for this step, you just want to focus on the sun and doing the silhouette of the trees on your horizon. So for this step, you're going to start off with the sun because it's in the background behind the trees. So I'm going to take that yellow color that we used and I'm going to mix it with just pure white. And I'm going to mix them together, but you want to have a little bit more of the white, so it's a paler yellow. So I mix them together and I just create a half circle along my horizon. And then I fill it in with horizontal strokes, and near the right side, I like to add more white just to give it some dimension. And once that dries, you're going to use the same brush and you're going to clean it and then dip into the black shade. And with this, you're just going to create circles wherever you want your trees to be. And you don't have to worry about the leaves yet because that will come next. But just create circles and just like little mountain shapes wherever you want your trees to go. It's completely up to you. So after that is complete, while the paint is still wet, you want to grab your fan brush and go back in the black. And you're just going to use little stippling motions to create the effect of leaves. So the leaves can be any way you'd like because no tree is the same, no tree is perfect, so it's completely up to you. Just go along and follow that pattern and just build your way up and follow the shape of your circles, and that'll create the leaves for you. So once that is dry, we're going to move on to step 3, and this is where we're going to do the reflection of the trees. So just like we did with the sky in the beginning, we're going to turn it to the side, and we're going to go back to using the same brush we were using before. You're going to dip back into the black shade, and you're just going to do the same thing with the circles and mimic the trees that you have on the horizon, because as you can see, it's equal on both sides. So once you've done that, don't worry about the leaves again, because we're going to be creating a water effect, so the leaves aren't going to really be important in the reflection part of the painting. So while this part is still wet with paint, you're going to go back to the thick brush that we used in the beginning, and you're going to dip into the oranges and yellows and the colors that you used in the sky. And you're going to use this brush and just begin making swiping motions along the shadows of the trees, the reflection. And since we didn't paint the leaves, it's okay because it's going to create that effect anyway as you're blending them horizontally. So you're going to continue to do that until you think you've got yourself a good reflection. And I like to add pink, and the color that I used was Diva Pink. It's a really hot pink color, and I like to do it because that kind of adds just a pop of color into your reflection. So after that, I like to use the same brush and just begin making the clouds, but you kind of finish that in the next step. But how I start it is I just dip it into white, and I just really gently kind of brush it across the sky. And after that, we're going to move on to step. So for the final step of this painting is the finishing touches. So what I did is I went back into the reflection with kind of a gray color just to help make the reflection look more realistic. And then, as you noticed before, we had a little gap between the trees and the reflection of the horizon line that we initially put. And the way that I like to blend it together is I like to just dip a plain empty brush into water, and it'll help blend the two blacks together but almost create kind of a gray line to help show the effect of the horizon better. So now that this part's complete, I like to go back over the clouds with the same brush again, and I dip a little bit more in the white, and then I use this light pink called Cameo Pink, and I go back into it, and I just go over it to kind of make it pinker to match the warm tones of this painting. So after I finish with that, I like to add my stars, and the stars are optional because a lot of times you don't really see stars in a sunset, but again, it's your painting, so you can make it whichever way you like. So what I like to do for this step is I like to take this brush once again, and I dip it in water. So after I do that, I combine the yellow shade and the white that we have right here, and I use more white than yellow, and I put them on the plate, and then I dip back in the water and mix them so it's very runny and almost watery. And once that is complete, this will be soaked. So then you're going to take the painting, and if you don't want the stars to be on the trees, obviously, or the reflection, you can use a paper towel, anything to cover it up. But you're just going to do kind of a flicking motion like this, just on top of the painting. And when you do that, it'll splatter all the little droplets around and give the imitation of stars. So that's how I do my sunset. And again, you can also add birds, you can add people, you can add boats. You can do anything you'd like to personalize it. You don't have to add water. It is all completely up to you, and that's what makes art so amazing. It's completely optional. So now you know the basic steps of how to prep, paint, and make the final touches of a sunset. According to Bob Ross, all you need to paint is a few tools, a little instruction, and a vision in your mind.